Okay, everyone. Hey, Rick Hoffman here. I hope you're having a really great day. Whether or not it's the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, end of the week, wherever you are, um, I hope you're doing something that you enjoy. So, with that being said, hopefully you'll enjoy this training. And what we're going to be talking about here today is basically how to repurpose your content that you're delivering on other sites. So if you're writing a blog post as a guest, or maybe you're a guest on somebody else's or on a podcast that's not hosted or on your platform. Maybe it's other interviews that you're giving, maybe it's at a conference, um, wherever you may be using your content that is not part of what it is that you're creating for yourself, but you're lending your story, you're lending your information to somebody else to utilize for them to grow their audience. This is a way that you can repurpose that, and especially if you're in the same niche. For example, I'm in the water safety drowning prevention niche space. I have a personal story on that, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today. I've told my story on my own podcast, but recently I went on to another podcast, told my story a little bit, talked about our platform, our goal, and our mission around saving 185,000 lives from fatal drowning and over 1 million lives from non-fatal drowning by June 15th, 2029. We talked about our community within the Kelsey Code, which you're part of here with the Kelsey Code. And so, if you're viewing this training, whether or not it's part of a promotion or whether or not you are a member of this, so I have tons of templates. Okay, I've been in business for 30 plus, close to 35 years. A lot of that in brick and mortar businesses, but for the better part of about 12 years, I've been operating multiple different businesses on the internet. Everything from internet marketing and selling, products and services and things like that. I've been a coach for an extremely long time, coaching athletics, other things, but also as a business coach and also as a coach working with families who've lost children in the grief space. So a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you, these templates, these things that I've learned, I've developed over the years, and I've just kind of created these. These will work for any business. These will work for any niche. These will work for regardless of what it is that you're doing. As long as you're repurposing content and marketing that content to your audience or the people that want to that match up to your avatar, who you want to speak to. Okay. So with that being said, that's what we're going to talk about here today, how to repurpose your content that you shared on other platforms or other people's blogs and articles, places like that. Just a keynote here. I just want to say one other thing. This also works if it's not your content. Okay, if you're wanting to put out a challenge, you're making a challenge to yourself to do. I know people that want to spend 30 days and make a blog post every day. Eventually, you go through all your content, and so real quick, if that's the case, and or maybe a challenge where you're going to do one a week, or maybe two a week, whatever. This is a way you can repurpose that content, and you can repurpose other people's podcasts. If those podcasts, especially if so I recommend that you start listening to other people's podcasts, because this is a great way to repurpose those people's podcasts if that storyline or that speaker or the content is really speaks to your audience. Okay, I want you to think of it that way. So here we go. And so really what I want to, and as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of slides here. So I want you to think of this like a sandwich, if you will. Okay. Every good article, every good blog post, every good podcast, you have to have a hook. In this case, we don't have a hook. We got like a toothpick. okay, that's sticking in the top. That is what's really, so in this case, we want to make that stick together. And so this is something that's going to drive our message home and bring people into our sandwich, if you will. Okay. So when you think of a sandwich, you have a top piece of bread. Okay. You have a piece of bread at the top, and then you have the innards, or we'll just call this the meat of your sandwich. This is where all the where all the best stuff lies, really. This is the content of your sandwich. And then, you might have some condiments, things like that. But then you've got your bottom layer of bread. Okay. So what we're really going to be talking about here is we're going to be talking about the top layer, the hook, which is kind of the title, what it is that you're hooking people in with. And then that's really kind of speaking to why you're repurposing this content and what maybe somebody could get out of listening to this. And then the other part is the bread, but then the meat of the content, we'll get into that. Okay, so here's what I want you to think of. For example, you have a title. That is the top layer. Like I just explained, all this is just like the top slice of bread with a hook to lead people into, to take a bite of your sandwich. Then the meat of the content that you shared, or maybe it's somebody else's content. And we call this the meat again. And I want to stop here for 1 second. People might say, well, Rick, that's somebody else's content. Well, I refer to this as newsjacking. Okay. Media does this every day. The news media, and I'm going to call out two stations, for example, CNN and Fox News. Okay. Let's say CNN is reporting on a story. Okay. And Fox News wants to report on that same story, but they want to give their spin to it. Okay. If you will. And so in the background, or they actually show content, or they have content, and with the CNN, a picture of the content, which might say, it says, it's CNN. So they're giving credit to CNN for this news article. And then all they're doing is they're sandwiching that CNN article within their content. Okay. So they've got their piece of bread, they've got their hook that hooks their audience in. Then they go to the CNN article, which is the meat of the article, and then they're putting their spin on the bottom piece of the bread of the article with a call to action, or with an opinion, or whatever the case is, if you will. Okay, so that's the way I want you to think of this. So it's totally legal. It's totally ethical. News media, they do it all the time. You just can't take somebody else's content, repurpose that content as it is, and then claim it's yours. Okay, so we're not claiming this. We're just repurposing the content and putting our spin on it to hook people into our newsletter, to hook people to maybe subscribe for our podcast, even though it's somebody else's podcast, or to our newsletter, or to our members group, or to whatever information, education, whatever it is that we have going on. Okay, the biggest thing you need to understand, this is about growing your list, growing your audience. Okay, that's where we have to spend the time. Okay, because there's one thing there's a huge problem out there, especially in the water safety and drowning prevention space, because of the numbers of the drowning. They just aren't coming down, because and it's real simple. The simple solution to the problem is a revenue problem. If we solve revenue, then people can put more money into this program. So we have to focus on the audience, and then we try to drive demand for what it is that you offer, and then we switch gears and put that into a revenue stream, and then it's just kind of like repeat and rinse. But you've got to deliver good value, good content, and that's the last slice of the bread in the bottom, of adding some condiments as your call to action, if you will. And I want to just focus on value here for a second, and being a thought leader and an authority leader also. We've also got a great program, LinkedIn training, that we talk about authority leadership platform, building your authority leadership platform. I've got a lot of templates there also, so you can drive your message home via LinkedIn and build relationships. So again, this is an audience based, this is value, this is deepening the relationship maybe with your existing, but also giving you an avenue to promote something outside of this. Okay. And you're doing a good thing here because you're sharing somebody else's content, which we need to do. Okay, but you're sharing it in a positive way, and you're putting your spin on it. You're repurposing that content to give people another idea to think about. Okay, so let's jump in a little bit here, and this is what you're going to get on the template. So we've got a template that you can download, and so that's this template. There is going to be some variables. There's 12 variables on this. Okay, and you're just going to answer these questions. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so these are the 12 variables. And so first of all, we have type of content that you're newsjacking for your sandwich, for an example. That would be, in this case, it's a story. It's my story, really, but it's a story. You could use, it could be a water safety, it could be drowning, it could be, you know, whatever, okay, whatever that content would be. The main topic here would be this is around water safety, drowning prevention. That's kind of the keywords that we're focusing on as part of this. Okay, our target audience in this case is I'm targeting aquatics professional and aquatics professional, and then that's singular, and then our plural is aquatics professionals because it's a group of people. And then we have our main big benefit. So everything has to have a benefit. So how to repurpose your story that you shared, okay? And then there's something hard. This is something that's difficult that maybe is keeping them or stopping them from maybe sharing this content, okay? And this is because they'll wind up spending a lot of time coming up with content, and they just don't have the time. And then we have, this is probably an insider group, or this would be something that's standing in your way, other things or other people, other groups of people that might be wishing you to, maybe saying, I hope he fails. In other words, these are people that maybe others that wish they knew the secret like you. In other words, how to repurpose this content. The title of my program here is the Kelsey Code. I want to bring people into the Kelsey Code. And then where are they going to go for this? And then what is it? And so on and so forth. And then we have a headline, which is learn how to get my formula and template that I use to write content. Okay, just like this. And so that's kind of what we're talking about here. And so we can repurpose this. Now, let me ask, well, this is not really a question. Let me tell you why this is the case. I've got a podcast. I've interviewed well over several thousand, a couple thousand aquatics professionals over the last few 2.5 years, with the past and a very small percentage of those actually come on my podcast. But many of those people that come on my podcast, they don't share the content. Okay, many businesses don't share the content. Many other nonprofit groups, organizations don't really share the content. It's their content. It's their story. It's their information. Now, here's why I believe that they don't share it. There's a couple reasons, actually. The number one reason is they're wanting to get to my audience. Okay, they don't want to share their audience with my podcast because first of all, they're sharing their information, so their audience is already aware of this information. But they're missing the boat. Okay, they're missing the boat, and knowing this secret right here and having this template is going to set the sail on your boat, and you're just going to drive this home, drive your message, drive your business, and bring people that maybe you're not having a conversation with. It's going to open the door for you to have a conversation. Again, people don't want to share content because they don't want their subscribers or their followers to become my subscribers, and they don't want to lose the attention. I don't believe that is the case. I don't think that'll happen if you're providing good value. You're a thought leader and you have an authority leadership platform, and not only that, but you have a USP, which is a unique selling proposition. If you're unique enough, people won't leave you. Okay, matter of fact, they will hold you in much higher regard because you're a thought leader. You're providing them value. You're providing them other content. And the other thing is, be consistent with this. if you're going to put out a blog post, a podcast, whatever it is, you've got to put one out if it's once a week, every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, once a month, whatever it is, you have to do this. And this is a really simple way to condense that time, get that time frame down into a very short period of time. So when we and when we put these variables in, I'm going to show you some templates here. We'll go into, I'll share my screen and show you how this really works here in just a moment. But if you really want to streamline this, basically you can take this template. If you're part of our Kelsey Code free membership, you can do this yourself, put this together and everything else. But if you really want to streamline this, let me just say you can upgrade. You can upgrade your free membership. You can email this to me, and it doesn't matter. It could be every day, once a week, doesn't matter. And then within the same day, or at least by the next business day, we will email you back with this all this plugged into this template. Or you can take these variable entries and plug them in yourself, and go there. Either way, okay. So let's show you how this would work. So we really don't need this anymore. So for an example, we've got a blank, if you've got a WordPress site, you're going to go in here and you got a blank page, okay? But we can't really start doing anything here because we really have to take this is our variable entries that I just showed you, okay? So we have our variable entries here. And then we come down here. And everything that you see in red, we're going to plug in what you see here, the word story. So we put it in here. How to repurpose your story that you shared, how to repurpose the story you shared without having to spend a lot of time coming up with content. Okay. That is what, we're coming up with is, say, a title. And then then we kind of have this first paragraph here, and then this is the meat, this is the content that we're going to plug in here, and I'll show you that content here shortly. And then again, this would be the bottom layers, the condiments and the bottom layers with the bread and the call to action. Okay, but we have also 50 plus titles you can choose from. So again, you can come through, you can pull these variables down, and you can plug them in to all these different areas to come up with a title that you want to use. Not only that, but you can repurpose these and put these into tweets, into short content messages for Facebook, your Facebook groups, other areas, Instagram with a picture, all types of things that you can repurpose this for. So again, this is just going through here and showing people how to utilize this. As you can see, 50 plus titles that you can repurpose. But before we do, I want to go any further. I want to just tell you one thing. This is a template, okay? You may be looking at this on your screen and saying, Rick, there's some punctuation, there's some spelling, there's some double words. It doesn't make 100% sense. That's because it's a template. We're just answering some questions in here, and we're plugging them in. You have to go through and edit this, number one, so it reads right. Have to edit it for spelling, and then edit it for punctuation, and make sure and take out any duplicates, words, or things like that. And this is by no means an end-all, be-all template. It's just that this gets you started. You can add additional content into here. Once you're going, you may think of something you want to add, and so we can do that. And I'm going to show you how this plugs into the blog post here in just a moment. So we have the titles here, like I said, the titles, and then we also have, here's your story, okay? These are the top openers, so this would be the top piece of bread. Here's all additional ones. Each one of these could be a separate opening, or a hook into the beginning of your article. So again, plugging all this in now, and you're plugging all this in. What's in red, you're putting this into these articles, and then this is the story that you're repurposing. Again, this would be the bottom, or the bottom piece of bread. Okay, and then we have the call to actions. Okay, this is the end of the story, content and repurposing your sandwich. And so we're adding this in as call to actions. So, we're giving people, telling people that they need to do something. Okay. And so now, let me go back up here. See all these things in red. You don't have to copy and paste. Basically, you can go through here and find the ones that you like the most and then plug them in. You don't have to plug all this stuff into every one of these, okay? You could just go through and plug this in. So this is the template that you will get, that you can download, and you can have this. I'm giving it to you for free, really, if you're a part of our group here. And if you're watching this also, you have an opportunity to download this. The other thing too is this is gold. I mean, let me just say, this, if you have a product to sell, you have swim lessons, you have something, and you're out there producing content. And that's the thing. We talk about content marketing, and so people think it's very, very time consuming. But the thing about it is, you're creating content all the time. You just don't know it. Okay. You can take all your blog posts and turn them into an ebook that you can use and give away, or you can sell to help drive traffic and demand. So now you're driving demand for what it is that your expertise, and you're also driving, you're giving education and knowledge, and you're also generating some revenue, possibly, or you're just giving a lot of value. All right. So this is a great way to take this and sandwich this in and come up with, an extra post every day. And then you can start looking for places, where can I get booked, or what, maybe other shows, maybe local TV stations, maybe radio, maybe other podcasts, maybe, all kinds of places. And then you can use this template and figure out how you want to repurpose this. In this case, I'm repurposing this because I wanted to be able to show you how to repurpose this. So that's what I'm really offering here as part of this podcast, okay, that we did. So I'm showing, again. So with that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this right here, and we're going to take this, and I'm going to pull this up, and we're just going to click copy on this, okay? So we're going to go in over here, and we're going to plug this into our title, okay, because I want to use this. I'm not going to use best story, because this is my story, my daughter who drowned, and so I don't know if that really, so I might here, so I might turn around and put my story, okay? So my story, how to repurpose, and how, I might change this, how I repurpose. So how I repurpose my story, okay? How I repurpose my story that I shared without having to spend a lot of time coming up with content, okay? So my story, how I repurposed my story, okay, that I shared without having to spend a lot of time coming up with content. You can too. So, whoops. I got a microphone in my face, so I can't see my keyboard, and I'm a two-finger, poker here, I guess you could say. All right. So you can too. All right. That's so, like I said, just because this is what this spits out, once you kind of see it, you can massage it, you can edit, you can change it a little bit, tweak it, make it sound more for your audience, if you will. Okay. So then we're going to come here, and we're going to basically pull this next section here. And we are going to click copy, and we're going to come up here, and we're just going to add that in here, and it'll take a second, but there it is. So after all the debate is over, if you want to get results with water safety and drowning prevention content, so I'm going to add actually it doesn't need to be, let's see, content, then this story, then so this story will help you get results a whole lot faster. So in fact, this is the information others wish that they knew, but we're going to change this here. So there's this others that would, let's see. In fact, this information, uh, you know, others wish they knew. Let's take that out. Others wish they knew, but they don't. Don't know this secret like you. And we're going to take this last sentence here because I don't think it really makes a whole lot of sense. So we're just going to kind of add a period there. If you want simple, effective, and immediate water safety drowning prevention tools to make your job as an aquatics professional, then to make your job as an aquatics professional, then take a hard look at this before you go any further. So let's add the word easy in here, easier. Okay, easier than take a hard look at this before you go any further. So again, what we're trying to do is ask people to listen to this podcast, okay? Because it's just showing them, I want them to listen to this podcast, hear my story, hear a little bit about what we're about and our mission and everything that we're doing, because, I want them to be part of our Kelsey Code. I want them to be part of this. It'd be if I had a newsletter, if I wanted them to subscribe, to hear other stories that we're sharing like this, whatever it is that I want to get out the door, we can do that with, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit enter, okay? That's going to basically give us a new spot. Now, they have a website, so it's actually Aqua Talk, so let me pull that up. Let's see. And so I'll show you what we do with this, okay? So click on podcast, and because we were a guest on the podcast, it'll show you here. So what we'll do is we'll open this up here, and should do this here. Let's see. Oops, it's not what I wanted. Let me go. Sorry about this. I was wondering, there's a whole nother page here, so I don't think it'd be it's part of their podcast. So here, let me go. Let me pull it up here. Let me pull up Facebook real quick, and because there's a link on Facebook page, so there you go. You can kind of look at my Facebook page if you want. There you go. Go on down. Dun, dun, dun. This is it right here. So we're going to open that up in a new link. And there it is. Okay. So what we do is I open this up here. Okay. I'm going to open this up here, and I take a screen capture of this right here. Okay. And so, which I've already done. So I just kind of wanted to show you what we were doing here. So I take a screen capture of this page right here. And then what we're going to do, let's plug this in here. I'm actually going to we're going to upload that picture, and I have it in my Dropbox file. So we come down here, and we're going to pull that screenshot up, and we add it here. Okay. Now, this page here, okay, we're going to take this link, and what I want to do is, as you can see, this link is rather long, okay? What we're going to do is we are actually going to simplify this link. And so and I've already done this to save time, but if you don't have pretty links on your website, It's a great plugin. I highly recommend that you um, add this plugin. It's a free plugin, and it can take links, any link like this, and you can customize the link and personalize it so it looks like it's your link. So we're just going to open this up in a new tab, and in this case, I've already created the link here. It's right here, Tragic Story, and so I create the link. As you can see, it's my website address /AquaTalk, and so we're going to click copy. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to come back over here and we're going to make this clickable. Okay, we're going to paste this in there. Now this photograph for this picture is now clickable. We're also going to add it down here in the bottom. Okay, so that now also they'll see this, and we can basically put a little call to action here. Click this link to listen. To listen. We can also, let's go ahead and so just click below. On the photo to listen to this podcast. Okay. Dot, dot, dot. Now, let's go ahead and fix this real quick here. We duplicate Word. We'll do that. Okay. So just click below on the photo to listen to this podcast. So we're giving them a little bit of instruction there. Now, let's go ahead and begin to wrap this up here. We're going to take these call to actions here, and we're going to put this in here, okay? And we can copy, and then we're going to add it right here, all right? Now, we'll come back and we'll do some editing here on this before we actually publish this, but, you know, because we're, you know, as you can see, there's some things here that'll come up, and of course we can make quick changes, but we're not going to leave this all like that. We're going to go through and edit this, maybe make a few minor changes so it reads a little differently and reads the way we want it to read. Now we do have, I have some other content that I put in below on all my blog posts and podcasts. So we're going to, again, this is all part of our branding. So we want things to be uniform there. Hang on one second. I had to get a drink. Anyways, so we want people, so we give them to some call to actions because again, even though we have call to actions above there, we're going to add in some more. So this is for our social media links and for people to join, follow us and things like that. And also they can record a 90-second question or comment to let us know how we're doing. So that's right here. So we have that in this. This is some HTML code. We're going to click that. We just come down here. We're going to hit enter again. We put that in there. We hit paste. And then hopefully we come back in here. Let's see. We went to edit this here. So let's go. Let's see. Edit this HTML. Actually, I don't want to do that. So we're, whoops. Because even though it says edit as HTML, it doesn't come out right. You do enough of these, you figure out. And so what we do is then we just kind of click off here and it says convert to HTML. Now it will show up right. So now that we have that, let's save it. We'll save this here real quick and then we'll preview it and we'll kind of give you a glimpse of the finished product. Okay. You know, so if you do a little bit of research, you know, and you're repurposing your content, then, you know, this is a really simple thing to do. And so now we'll just come here, we'll reopen this up. And as you can see, we can add some more photos in here. We can add some more graphics, whatever it is that we want, okay? So for example, you know, here's the title, my story, how I repurpose my story that I shared without having to spend a lot of time coming up with content. you can too. And so again, we're showing people how to do this because at the end of the day, I want people to get my template. I'm giving them something of value, how they can repurpose this content. Now, this looks just like her page here. Okay, so let's close this out. Okay, because I want to show you how this works. So this now is clickable. So we can click on this, open this in a new tab, and there it is right there. It's opening. And once it's done opening, we can come in here. There it is. So they can click play. So again, if they come down here and click play, okay, again, now it won't open it in a new window, but it'll look like they just did it just like, you know, they always have, okay? So this is why this is really cool. So again, it's just, I don't know. I tell you, you would wish that you knew this. Okay. The other thing too is just to kind of show you what the page looks like when it's all finalized and done. It has our branding, our podcast here, things like that. So it's a way to repurpose yourself on somebody else's podcast while you're promoting that podcast. So you're sharing that content. You know, people don't share. A lot of my guests don't share. A lot of them do. You know, but there's probably more that don't share it the way they should, you know, and obviously I don't ask them why. So, but I'm just assuming that, you know, probably one of two things. Either they thought it really sucked and they didn't like it, or they don't want to send their traffic to me. Okay. From that standpoint, they want me to promote it to my audience, so my audience will go to their website, which I have no problem with that because my audience is not going to leave me. If they were going to leave me, they're going to do it anyways. Okay, and if that's the case, I don't want them. All right, I want people. You know, we're growing our audience. You know, our goal is to reach 100 million people. Okay, by June 15th, 2029. With our message of water, you know, around water safety, drowning prevention, saving 185,000 lives. I believe that's what it's going to take. But it's also going to take content. It's going to take content like this. It's going to take me going on other podcasts. It's going to take me going on other blog posts. It's going to take me, you know, sharing content, and then finding other content that makes sense. Okay. So for an example, let me go here. We'll show you something here. How many of you have Google Alerts? Okay, I have Google Alerts. I get Google Alerts all the time. Like here's something here on lifeguarding. Okay, these are new as of today, just the last few hours. So we can click on this. Let's go swim lessons. We can click on swim lessons. Where'd it go? Here it is. We can click on swim lessons. So again, receives grant for adult swim lessons. This might make for a good story. You know, this is somebody else's content. So let's open this up in a new page. And now here's an article. Here's an article. Again, we can screenshot this portion here. Okay, we would basically just screenshot or screen capture this portion. We don't necessarily need to add in there, but we can screenshot this and get maybe the first paragraph. We would make this clickable and say, click the article below to read more. Got it? Okay. And so, and then we can turn around and we can sandwich that content around what we're talking about. You could do this all day long. And the thing about this is you can plug this in, you can plug these variables in. Once you look at this article and you see, okay, what's this article talking about? All right, well, what I want to do is this is about grants. It's about, you know, how they received a grant for adult swim lessons. So we can turn around and come back to our variables and we can plug this in. What type of content? This is about adult swim lessons. The main topic here is about receiving grants. Target audience here might be maybe we're targeting other YMCAs, for example, a YMCA. Maybe this is or executive director for YMCA, executive directors. You know, the big benefit, how to receive a grant how you can receive grants like this, or how we can help you if you're a grant writer. Maybe how we can help you write grants to receive things like this. Something hard, what's holding you back? You don't have the knowledge on how to write a grant. Inside our group, these, we're going to share secrets with you that other people wish they knew. The title of the program is my grant writing course, whatever. Here's where you go. Here's a headline, and then you take those and plug that in. That's how simple this is. And you can, now I don't write grants, but there could be something else in here that makes a lot of sense. But again, if I partnered with somebody, a business or somebody who writes grants, I can repurpose this content and I can use this to promote them because they are part of my inner circle. Make sense? So we're providing value. We're a thought leader. We're providing value. So there's great ways to use this without even your own content. And instead of just clicking the share button and sharing this out, and nobody's, other than you're promoting this article, but this is just another way to promote the article. And then you can turn around and rewrite that little sandwich piece, and you don't even have to put it on a blog post if you want. You can put that out on Facebook. You can put that out in other ways of content with your call to action. Okay, putting their picture there with your call to action. Okay, sharing, you're sharing this story a little bit here, this information. Okay. I mean, I'm rambling on here a lot. So I hope you really see the value in what it is that we're talking about here. This is just extremely powerful what you can do with this tool. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. So, if you're not a member of the Kelsey Code, go ahead and join the Kelsey Code. It's 100% free. We're putting content like this every week. I have probably about 50 some templates to create content. This is just one. I have some that are very, very simple. I have some that are extremely long, depending on, it'll write actual articles. It'll actually write stories. It'll help you find content like this if you're looking for something specific. And then, if you want us to do a lot of this work for you, just upgrade your account. It's one article like this could land you the right person that pays for the whole entire upgrade. It's not much money when you talk about what software, or to pay a copywriter to write copy. Okay. Yeah. You can go to Fiverr and pay $20 for somebody to write something, but that's $20 now, $20 again, $20. So if you're spending $20 a week, for 52 articles, well, you do the math, that's over $1,000. Okay. So, to be part of our Kelsey Code is nowhere near that. So, for the upgrade. So again, and if you're not sure, go ahead and shoot me an email at rick@thekelsgroup.com. And we can also share with you a lot of the other templates and things like that. And once we get all these built out, they will all be there. Also, part of my other programs and everything we're doing with paid content, driving traffic, driving revenue, we can work with you and show you exactly how we do that. And because, again, it's about reaching 100 million people. So we work in the aquatics or the water safety drowning prevention space. So we want to help you reach more people with your message. Okay. So with that being said, guys, make sure you download the template. I hope you found some value. Even if you don't see a lot of value in the article or the podcast, I hope you see value in how you can use this. That's the whole purpose of this, is to demonstrate how you can use this to repurpose some content. Okay. Have a great day. And we'll just kind of talk to y'all a little later. Okay. See ya. Bye.